Hello, everyone. We're going to be talking about scatterplots today. We're going to talk about how to take real life data and how we're going to use that real life data comparing a independent and dependent value, and we're going to plot those points like ordered pairs, and we're going to see how they relate to each other. So a scatter plot is just simply the plotting of ordered pairs and comparing that relationship between the two. So when I look down here at the bottom, we're comparing temperature to the number of kids at the bus stop. Now, you can kind of see the relationship happening as you see the temperature go up, you see the number of kids actually going up as well. So if I look down here, I do not see a perfect line, but I do see a pattern that's in a linear direction. So if I'm looking here at those points, I can see that I could actually kind of draw a line through those points. And yes, there may be some on the line, there may be some above the line, there may be some below the line. They don't fit perfectly on a line, but you can see that there is a linear pattern. So that linear pattern is what we're going to talk about in the relationships that we see. So we're going to have three types of relationships, or really two relationships and no relationship at all. But the first one that we're going to talk about is a positive trend. Now, another word that you're going to hear is correlation. So correlation basically just means is what relationship do you see happening together with these two things. So a positive relationship happens as one value increases, the other value also increases. So it's positive because as my x increases, so does my y. So as I read it from left to right, they're both going up. Again, they're not in a perfect line, but they do have a linear pattern. They are clustered together in a linear pattern. So then we have the negative trend. So a negative trend or negative correlation happens when as one value increases, the other value is going to decrease. Okay. So if I'm looking at this one, as my x's are increasing, my y values are decreasing. So that is going to create a negative relationship. And this is all about direction, okay? Positive direction means my data values are going up. As one increases, the other increases. Negative direction is all about when my data values, as my one increases, my other decreases. And then we have no trend or no correlation. So no correlation basically happens when there's a scatter of points everywhere. You see no relationship. The values are not related. So an example of this would be basically if I took and asked the question and I said, tell me how old you are and how many pets you have. Your age does not relate to how many pets you have. So we would have a non-related scatter plot. All right, the other thing that I wanted to quickly discuss is the strength that you're going to have with your scatter plot. So the closer your points are together, so the closer that they are clustered together, the stronger the relationship is. So that strength is going to come from how compact your points are, how close they are to actually making a line. So when I say they're more compact, if I look at, let's say, this example that we originally looked at for the temperature and the bus stop, I can see that it's pretty compacted together. Now, again, it's not a perfect line, but all of the points are pretty close to that line. So I could confidently make the statement that there is a strong relationship between the temperature and the number of kids at the bus stop. Now, if I'm looking at the negative trend, so this negative trend, this one is a little bit more spread out. Does that mean that there's not a strong relationship? No. It just means that it's not as strong as, let's say, the temperature and the number of kids at the bus stop. So when I'm looking at this one I would consider to be stronger because they're more compact. And then the negative trend over here, I would say is not as strong. I would say it's still strong because it's still pretty much in a good linear pattern, but it is not as compact, so it's not as strong. Okay, so let's look at these examples. So in these examples, I want you to tell me, is it a positive relationship, a negative relationship, or is it going to be a no relationship? So positive correlation, negative correlation, or no correlation. So we're going to look at the first one. So this is going to be number 1. And when I'm looking at this example, I can see that they are close together in a linear cluster. And when I'm looking at that, I can draw a line through them and say that as my x increases, my y increases. So this is going to be positive. For number 2, I can see here that this one isn't a linear pattern. As my x's increase, my y's are decreasing. So that's going to be a negative relationship. All right, for number 3, I don't see a relationship happening here. I see very scattered points. There's no pattern happening. So I would say this has no relationship or no correlation. Same thing for number 4. This is very scattered. I don't see a cluster that's happening, a pattern. So this is going to be no relationship. For number 5, as my x's are increasing, I can see that my y's are increasing. They're very much in a linear pattern, so this is going to be positive. And then number 6, I can again see that there is a cluster, a linear pattern that's happening. As my x's increase, my y's are decreasing, so this is going to be negative. So just remember that you're looking for 3 scenarios. You're looking for positive. As your x's increases, your y increases. Your negative is going to be as your x's increase, your y's will decrease. And then for no relationship, it'll be scattered throughout. And then, of course, the closer your points are together, the stronger they are. And the further apart they are, the less strong they are. I don't want to say they're weak, but they will be less strong.